I'm Victor Taibo from the Students' Union from Spain and from the Marxist International Tendency, militant section of the Spanish Marxist International Tendency.
Can you outline the political and economic situation in Spain at the moment?
Well, we have the international crisis of capitalism is hitting very hard to Spain. We have lost 1 million employees in 1 year, and there is a lot of worry about the economic situation. And we see that we are having starting movements in the students and in the youth against that situation and against all the plans of privatization. But in other aspects, we have we have a socialist party in government, but it's a social and political polarization, very big polarization, because the right opposition is very hard with the government, and we see that in the last years we had some demonstration about the right opposition, and now we are seeing again the working class coming again to the streets, no, to struggle, and the most important, the youth is they are starting to move with strikes against the plans of privatization of the education, university education, the European plans to privatize the university education, and we have some cuts too in the school education. So we have been doing some demonstration and strikes by the Students' Union that has a very good response from the students and from the youth, and it's very interesting because some analysts from the press, from the bourgeois press, they've been seeing what is happening in Greece, and they are very worried about the Greece situation. And there are some articles that they explain that we can have something like we see in Greece, in Spain, because the level of the salaries of the youth are similar, like 800 euros, 700 euros. So you can have an explosion similar in Spain because the conditions are similar, like in Italy, like in Greece.
We recently reported on Marxist.com about 2 student strikes in Spain. Can you maybe explain a bit more?
Yes, we had two big two strikes in Spain as we put these strikes on the Students' Union in university and in the schools. We had 2 demonstrations, and 2 strikes in the 22nd of October and in the 13th of November, and we are looking to unify the movement of the students, because we have attacks in the school system, in the education system, but we have attacks too in the university with these European plans about the privatization of the university. And we think that with these university plans, it's important to go to the schools and to mobilize the schools, because the students of the schools are going to university in the future, no? And we have to reform in the technical careers, but it's not careers, it's like the people that doesn't go to universities, goes to a technical school, and we have a reform that is, this reform is the first steps to abolish that education and to return to a system that a young student can be working in a factory, and then the businessman he is going to give the title of these technical schools in the future. So they want in the future to abolish these technical schools. So we put out 2 strikes. 22 of October we had demonstrations in 45 cities of all of the states, and we mobilized like 40,000 students. It was a very good mood in the youth, and we had very combative slogans in the demonstrations. The main slogans were the problem is capitalism, workers and youth together forward, and this kind of slogans. And we put out one slogan very important for us, that is that the main unions, UGT and CCO, they have to put out a general strike, because these measures of privatization of education and to the economical situation, all the layoffs that are going on, shows the need to do a big general strike by the main unions, no? Because in the last of the day, you have that the workers are going to be very affected by these reforms in education, because you are going to have to pay to go to university, and the people with the lowest salaries, they will not pay. They will don't have money to pay the university, and a lot of students are going to be expelled from university because of the money. So we had this first demonstration, and then in the 13th of November we have our biggest demonstrations, because in this 13th of November we have attacks from the state government, but we have attacks too in the provincial governments of the right and of the left. No, they are trying to privatize more the education, the schools. And in the 3rd of November, we had 60 demonstrations in 60 different cities in all the Spain. But in Catalonia, we had big demonstrations with 100,000 people in the streets, because in Catalonia, the main union of teachers, they went to strike too, together with us. And there was an important step forward, because in Catalonia, there is a law that tries to make the schools like private centers, and they want the directors of these schools to be businessman, like businessman, you know, like this, no? So we had in Catalonia a big mobilization of the teachers and the students, and in all the state we have 150,000 students that went to the streets with these radical slogans, saying that the crisis has to be paid by the capitalism, by the capitalist. We think that this mood is growing, and we can have explosion in the next months.
How was the response of other layers of society?
The response was very good. We had because the workers they see that the situation is very bad, and they want their unions to do something. No, and we put a lot of pressure with the unions. We have meetings with UGT and with CCOO, and we press them to put general strike, or maybe put a general strike of teachers, because the privatization of the school system and the university education affects all the sectors of the education. They didn't went out with the strike, but we had some demonstrations by the unions that, for example, in Madrid we have a demonstration in defense of the public education with 20,000 people. So that indicates that there's a lot of pressure to put out a general strike, and we are going to be putting more pressure to the union leaders to put out this general strike, because it's the future of the students and the working class.